Hello.
Hello. We haven't been live for a while, but we are now.
Yeah.
Kaya's just sharing this, so I'm going to talk while we're getting set up here. So today we're actually going to talk about sustainability in motherhood, because it's such a huge task that we do all day, every day. And it's can be really exhausting. And mothers ask us a lot about, how do I stay topped up? How do I not get depleted? How do I have enough energy to show up the way I want to be showing up as a mother, to be playful, to be patient? All of those pieces. We get asked that a lot. And we, of course, get asked about self-care. How do I fit my self-care in? How does that work? And so we thought we'd share with you today 2 or 3 of the main concepts that we share with our clients, that we help them move into different... It's really a mindset, a lot of mindset stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a practical application to it, but there's a real shift in the way that you choose to view all of this, and the way that you choose to view motherhood, that makes this all way easier. Way easier.
Yeah. So often mothers, well, not just mothers, because everybody, we think of self-care and bringing your own needs in and caring for yourself as this really big thing that requires a lot of energy. And because often when you're not a mother and you've got like a lot more extended periods of time, you like, it means that you're used to self-care and caring for yourself being like you know, the stereotype that we have of going and getting a massage or having a candlelit bubble bath. They're so valid as well. But then as a mother with like 4 children under 6, that seems pretty hard to
Achieve.
Yeah, so we want to show you that there's so many other ways to bring yourself in, and together with that, remind you how vital it is to bring yourself in.
And if you're waiting until there's time to find time for yourself, that's never going to happen. Seriously. Like, really, does it? It never ends. And if you're joining, because there's lots of people joining, say hello. Type in the comments, because I can see lots of people joining, but I have no idea who it is.
Oh, and because we've shared it to our pages, there'll be comments in separate places.
Wow,
too.
that's going to get confusing. Okay, we'll do our best. We are really available, so talk to us. If you've got questions, let us know. This is an engaging space on Facebook Live, and we really love to hang out. Okay, so self-care. Where should we start?
I think we should start with the receiving piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first piece that we want to talk about is a complete different way of thinking about probably several things, but certainly your self-care during the day. And that's the energetic piece. And the energetic piece, we're going to talk about the energy of giving out and the energy of receiving. So you're either projecting your energy or you're receiving energy coming at you. And as mothers, we are, for the most part, a lot of the time giving out, projecting, like we're always giving. And that is a very depleting, obviously. We're giving out our energy, that's depleting. If that's not coming back, if there's no energetic exchange happening in return, you are going to get run down and depleted. Right? That's going to happen. So here is the piece. You need to be receiving as much as you're giving. And before you go, oh, like, how could I ever do that? That's not even possible. When you receive energetically, you can receive in just a couple seconds. And it can be a silent, like, act that you're doing while you're doing something else. I can receive right now while I'm talking to you. I just did. You can receive all the time. So what can you receive? You can receive the sunshine. Hey, Jessie! Yay! You can't fill from an empty cup. Yep. You can't. Like, you've got to keep the energy coming in to be able to put it out at the level that all of you want to be putting your energy out at. You know, if you want to be that really dedicated mum, and I know you all do because you wouldn't be on our page otherwise, you've got to be bringing in enough energy to keep sustaining that. So receiving, what can you receive? I like to receive the day. I like to receive nature around me. You can receive your glass of water. You can receive a smile. You can receive a hug. You can receive...
You can receive absolutely anything. We could go on.
We could keep going on.
You could receive the earth underneath you. You could receive the sun on your skin.
Yeah. So the key about receiving, this is the energetics underneath it all. The key about receiving is you've got to open yourself up and really breathe it in, really take it in. Imagine yourself opening your arms up to whatever it is that you're receiving. So if it's the sun on your skin, fully open yourself up and receive it in the moment. This is a really crucial piece. And by doing that, okay, right now, give it a go. Just receive something in this moment. You could receive the sun, you could receive the day outside, the wind on your skin, your cup of tea. You could
really receive our words as a gift to you.
You could receive our love. Anything. Open up and breathe it in and really receive it. And as you do, you're going to, if you're really open to receiving, you're going to notice a natural energetic response in your body. And that energetic response is going to feel like gratitude. Because gratitude is the natural response in our bodies to receiving anything. And that will probably flip your gratitude practice on its head, just so you know, and that's a good thing. You need to receive to actually feel the gratitude in your body. And one of the most divine things to receive, to fully 100% open up to receive, is your child. It will blow your mind if you fully receive your child. And they don't have to be doing anything. Like, sure, they can be hugging you, or you could be nursing them or whatever, and that's incredibly beautiful. But you can still receive the energy of your child in any moment. If you fully open up and do that, it will light up your heart big time. Big time. And the gratitude will be immense in your body. And you're going to be topping up your energetic reserves all the time. And you really need to be doing that at least as much as you're giving. And if you're seriously depleted, more than you're giving. Can you receive more than you can give? That's hugely challenging. The first time a teacher shared that with me, like, I thought I was pretty good at receiving. And my mind went, what? More than I'm giving? But I really invite you, if you're really depleted, you're going to have to consider receiving more than you're giving. And receiving energetically those moments. And that probably leads us to the in the moment piece.
Yeah, and I just want to emphasize with that, with everything we're sharing in this conversation, it's so much about your intention and about your energy. So just like I was saying before, that we think of self-care as these extended periods of time, like going and having a weekend to yourself, or having a massage, going away with friends, and having space from your children. They're all an aspect of self-care. An aspect of receiving is also like actually receiving from someone, like being willing to get help from someone, those bigger, more tangible things. But most of receiving and most of self-care is the energy and the tiny little in the moment things. It's the, like, something that I discovered when I was really learning about receiving was that I could actually do exactly the same thing, but with an energy of receiving, and it completely changes the way that I experience that thing. Like, I could actually be doing housework, which sometimes from a different energy can feel like like it's depleting me, and like I'm sorry, like I don't have time for self-care because I'm too busy doing the dishes or doing work around the place. But if I come at those things instead from a place of receiving, like I'm really receiving the water on my hands when I'm doing the dishes, and I put music on and I'm receiving the music while I'm moving around the kitchen, it completely changes the way I do it, and it does fill me up.
Absolutely. So play around with that piece, because that alone, receiving energetically as much as you can, it doesn't take any time out of your day to do it, as much as you can, will hugely shift your energetic reserves and the way that you're feeling about the day. For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that leads us to the fact that, okay, so when we teach self-care to mothers that we're working with, clients, we have two main models. And we have what we call sacred recharge time, and that is absolutely those times when you need to take time out, get away, have a massage, have a bath, I don't know, whatever it is for you that you need to do. Those are valid. They're totally valid. But they're actually the smaller piece of self-care. The larger piece of self-care that we teach is called in-the-moment self-care. And in-the-moment self-care you're receiving is woven into this. It's about bringing yourself into all the moments of the day. It's about bringing yourself into the solutions. It's about asking yourself, what am I feeling and what am I needing? And how many times can you ask that during the day and create a solution that includes you in that scenario? And it can be really simple, really simple. When our clients usually start doing this, they're really amazed at what they most need. And it's small things. It's like, I need to put on some music. I need to put on some essential oils. I need to go find some sunshine. I need to make chai. I need a glass of water. I need to go to the toilet. You'd be surprised.
And what Jessie said in the comments about you can't fill from an empty cup, that is so especially true with those kinds of questions. We often go straight to tuning into what our children need and what our children are feeling, but you will find that again and again you can't really meet those needs, and you end up getting resentful or losing it or getting frustrated or like feeling angry that they need or want so much because you haven't actually checked in with yourself and you haven't actually brought yourself into the equation. So it's really vital that you check in with yourself just as much, or like with the receiving, even more than you check in with what's going on for your children.
Bottom line, what you're trying to create is you're trying to fill your own energetic cup, and you're trying to be grounded and anchored. If you're crazy, if you're depleted and you're off kilter and you're out of balance, it's going to be really hard to show up as the mother that you want to be showing up as, because there's only so far you can stretch yourself before you lose your cool, before it all falls over. So this is this isn't really optional for mothers. I have to admit, with my firstborn, I was highly skeptical of self-care, blah, 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 you know. And I got crazy depleted, like to the point of adrenal exhaustion and all, you know, we all have experienced stuff like this, but it was insane. And I couldn't even function at the end of it. So it's not optional. You can't show up as the mother that you want to be. I mean, the women here, you guys, you want to be patient, you want to be present, you want to be playful, you want to be joyful, all these things that you want to be. You can't do that from an energetically empty space. You can't.
And this also is not something that you save for when you're feeling really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like this is this is also about prevention, and there's always a time and always a place for it.
Absolutely.
Like, even if you tune in, like, what do I need right now? What am I feeling? And you're feeling really topped up and you're feeling like alive and like really grateful for life, you can still like care for yourself. You can still love yourself. You can still receive the day even more. You can still receive your children even more. The more you do this in any moment,
the more joyful you're going to be.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's so much more energy you have to really connect with your children too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the in the moment piece of the self-care is probably really, and the receiving comes into that in the moment piece, something that you just do all throughout the day. That is probably 80% of your self-care needs. It's 80% of what you need to be doing. And you need to be doing it every day, all day, no matter what, in the moment. And so how do you do that? I'm going to give you two really simple ways. Okay, or if you've got another one, you can throw it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is to periodically ask yourself, what am I feeling and what am I needing? And those questions for some of you might feel really challenging. Sometimes mothers come to us and they're like, I do not have a clue what I'm feeling or what I'm needing.
Especially the what am I needing or what am I wanting. We're not often, women and mothers and people aren't used to knowing.
No. It's asking us to flip our energy just for that moment. Our current's going out into giving. We're very focused outwards, giving, focusing on our children. What are their needs? Where are they at? What's going on for them? And then that's asking you to turn that all around and come inwards for a moment, switch the direction. So that's one way to do it. That's one question. And the second question that I would invite you to ask yourself a lot during the day is, how can I receive this moment? What's here for me to receive right now? There's something in every moment that you could choose to receive. But really intentionally open yourself up and receive it. Hey, Crystal. Another local girl.
Another thing you can ask yourself, questions are powerful to just remind you of these kinds of energies and these intentions, these practices. Another thing you can ask yourself is, how can I love myself right now?
What would be really self-loving to me in the moment right now? How could I bring more joy?
And remembering that it can be so small. It can be so tiny. It's more about the intention and the energy.
Yeah. So often we have clients who have just had a second or third baby. And that's a hard place. For those of us who've been there, we know that's a really hard transitional space to be in. And we've brought in the moment self-care to these women too. And they can totally achieve it. They're usually a gobsmacked that they can do it. And what they want is so simple. What they're wanting, what they're needing, what's there in the moment for them that would be really loving is, get myself a glass of water. Go sit in the sun. Take the baby out into the sun. Whatever it is, like, they're very small things that make a huge difference. Huge difference. So,
yeah, and also if you are struggling with those questions, like what am I feeling, what am I needing, or what do I want, just remember to like tune into all your senses, to engage with all your senses. Like this kind of thing really helps for it to be sensual, for it to be creative. Like if there's a slight little voice that says, oh, I'd really love to have flowers in the house, like, acknowledge that. It doesn't have to be big. There might be like a flower just out the backyard you could pick and bring inside. It's so little, but it means a lot. It's like you're engaging with your own playfulness, your own sense of wonder, your own, all these needs that often get completely ignored. Like you're practicing listening to them more, which is also such a gift for your children. It means they're getting to know you at a different level. They're getting to know your needs, your wants, your playfulness, the whole spectrum of who you are, and you're
they'll
teaching,
bring it to you.
Yes, totally.
Once they understand what it is, they are so generous and so giving. And so once they understand what's really going on in your true nature, when you're letting it out, they're going to bring it to you for sure. You're also, in all of this, with your intention, by just tuning in and the energetics of receiving. So this is all just mindset stuff. But you're sending yourself a really important message here. You're telling yourself, I matter too. That's a hugely self-loving act to do, and it's actually a
back. We're back.
We're back. Sorry about that. Not sure what happened. Internet did its thing. That self-loving act is hugely powerful in your self-care. In fact, if you shift around your mindset to self-love over self-care, self-love will supersede all your self-care issues. It will. Over time, if you embark on that journey, self-care is kind of like a, what is it?
It's the thing that just sits on top.
Yeah.
But
it goes so much further than that when you...
It's the inevitable actions that come from self-love.
Yeah. And you can do self-care. We have lots of women who do this. You can do self-care that doesn't even dent the sides. Like, it doesn't make any difference to you. And it's because you're not doing it with any self-love. In fact, sometimes in your self-care, you're beating yourself up. Like, I gotta get to this exercise class. It's like, that's not self-care. If you're shooting all over yourself, that's not going to register in your body as self-care.
Yeah, and that also comes from that place of when women think, oh, well, I have to care for myself because that's something I just have to do for my children. But you're not actually caring for yourself in the process. It's just, oh, I have to tick this box in order to look after my children. In order to look after your children, you really have to love yourself. You have to really mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we actually lost a lot of you when we got kind of disconnected for a second. Sorry about that, everyone.
That's all right.
I don't know, do we want to keep going?
I think we've said everything.
I think we've said everything. We were going to open up for questions, but because our live got disconnected, now our audience who was there is gone, which is a bit of a bummer. Sorry about that. What else can we share? We do have a workshop coming up in a couple of weeks.
We don't have the details exactly yet, but
the team's putting the page together. It's nearly done. We're excited. So, but keep your eye on our page for that, because we're going to be sharing heaps more stuff like this in the next couple of weeks. Oh, Crystal, you're back. Mwah. I hope you're doing well with your new bubba too. We do have lots coming up in the next few weeks, and that workshop is going to be a humdinger of a workshop. I'm excited. We've thrown so much content in that. So in a couple of weeks, that's coming up, and you are so invited. It's free, so you are so invited to come and join us. And if you're watching this on the replay and you've got questions or a sharing or an insight, anything that you want to write in the comments, we'll be back checking them and we'll engage with you there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for being here today. Mwah.
See ya.
Bye-bye.